I woke up to the sound of water dripping right next to me. It was a slow drip, but loud enough that whenever a drop hit the puddle that formed under the seats, it echoed across the cart. Falling asleep in a subway is rarely a good idea, but in that moment, I really didn't care. Not like I had anything valuable on me besides my phone, which I kept in my jacket's inner pocket. Sitting on the plastic chair, my head tilted backwards, the light above me hit me right in the eyes, blinding me for a moment. When I regained my vision a few moments later, I realized that I was alone in the cart. Strange, I thought. It's rush hour. I didn't sleep that much, did I? Sure enough, when I checked the time, it was 6 p.m., and I boarded at around 5:50 p.m. I tried switching to Google Maps, thinking that perhaps I missed my stop, but it only showed me a blank map and a GPS signal not found message. Well, the internet still works at least, I said out loud, hearing my voice echoing. Besides the dripping water, there was complete silence. Not even the subway made any sort of noise. Looking outside, the windows revealed only pitch darkness. Eventually, I wanted to stand up, but the moment I tried, my legs just gave up on me. I fell, hitting my forehead on the chair in front of me. It hurt quite a bit, almost thinking I felt blood coming out. I stayed down for what felt like a few minutes as I regained feelings in my legs and the pain subsided. Standing up, I decided to go find someone else. Maybe they could tell me when the next stop is. The carts both to my left and to my right were also empty. Confused more than ever, I picked left as my direction, figuring that eventually I would have met someone. The subway had to stop at some point. I walked from empty cart to empty cart, rows of chairs unoccupied. Sometimes I thought I saw something from the corner of my eyes, but when I turned, it was the same emptiness. The lights flickered from time to time, but otherwise they were providing enough light for me to see ahead. When I looked at the time again, it was 8 p.m. Phone must have been bugged or something. No way I walked 2 hours in a bloody subway. When I stepped in the next cart, I heard a soft whistling, and then I saw someone else sitting. He must have been the one whistling. Looked like a homeless guy. His clothes were ragged, showing signs of being worn for quite a while. A scruffy beard was coming out of the gray hoodie he was wearing. Approaching him, the smell of sweat became almost unbearable, pit stains being very clearly visible. Nevertheless, I needed to ask him. However, I noticed he wasn't whistling. "Excuse me," I asked politely. "Do you know where the next stop is?" He didn't budge. I thought he didn't hear me. "Excuse me," I said louder. The whistling was getting louder. "Sit the fuck down," he whispered, "or you'll get us both killed." "Pardon?" "Sit the fuck down." Great, I thought. He was a junkie. Not wanting to anger him further and risk him going crazy on me, I sat down across from him and looked closely, being careful for any sudden movements. The whistling became louder and louder, and I began to notice a shadow growing on the door of the next cart. I hoped that finally there was someone normal around here. When the door opened, I wanted to get up and greet them, but what I saw shocked me into staying down. A figure crouched under the doorway, putting a white-gloved hand on top of the doorway, unable to enter otherwise. A black head wearing a white hat peered out of the door. If I looked at its face, it felt like I was looking at darkness itself, engulfing the light around it like a black hole. Slowly getting through the doorway, whistling all the while, he managed to enter on the other side of the cart. Tall as the subway and dressed in a completely white uniform, the thing was walking slowly towards us. Don't look at it too long. The man in front of me whispered. And don't make any sudden movements. Take out your ticket. Too scared to even say something, I began moving my hands towards my pocket and taking out my ticket. Not that one, the man in front of me said quietly. The other one. But I don't have another ticket. The creature was getting closer. Shit, the homeless man said. He scrambled in his pockets until he suddenly stopped. Here, take this. And then he threw me a crumpled piece of paper. Unfolding it, the paper was just a plain white ticket with a black dot on it. The whistling stopped. The tall creature was right in front of me.
Tickets, please.
It said in an echoing voice, sounding like several people were speaking at once. It then extended an abnormally long arm, opening its palm next to my chest. I put the ticket in its hand.
Thank you.
The creature told me, taking the ticket and putting it in the pocket of its uniform, proceeding to do the same thing with the man in front of me.
Have a nice trip.
The many voices echoed, and then the whistling began. When that thing finally exited the car, I nearly fainted.
Good job, kid.
The man finally said out loud with a voice that sounded like he ate cigarettes for breakfast.
You got through your first meeting with the conductor, though you did cost me a ticket.
What the fuck was that thing? I yelled.
Calm down, kid. The conductor is pretty harmless if you have your ticket and you don't act up. It's the other things you need to be careful of.
What other things?
Plenty of time to tell you about them. We'll be here for a while. For now, let's make acquaintances. What's your name, kid?
Anthony, and I'm not a kid. I said, being slightly annoyed. I'm 21.
Still a kid in my eyes, barely old enough to drink. The name's Matt.
Matt, I want to know, when's this subway going to get to the next stop? He began to laugh.
Kid, you're clearly new here. This subway doesn't stop.
What do you mean by it doesn't stop?
I mean what I said. It was some time ago since I boarded the subway. Can't really keep track of time here. I was going to work when I found myself here.
Where do you work exactly? I asked, confused as to how someone looking like they haven't showered in years could work.
The World Trade Center, right in the middle of the second tower.
I felt like all the blood in my face was disappearing. That can't be right, can it? I stood up and looked straight in his eyes. You're lying to me. The Twin Towers collapsed over 20 years ago. He just gave me a small, sad chuckle.
So, it's true then. Met another kid a while back who said the same thing. Hoped he was wrong. But if you say the same thing, it must be true. I had some good friends in there.
You're still lying to me? How can you claim you worked there and be dressed like that?
The suit was nice, but it was impractical. Got these clothes from a body I found a few months after getting here.
I fell right back in my chair. He said he found a body and just casually took its clothes? This had to be some sort of nightmare. I began slapping myself hard.
Won't work, kid. Tried that one too. You'll just end up with sore cheeks.
I was still in the subway. I stopped slapping myself as I slowly took in all that information.
Hey, for now you're doing okay, kid. Come with me, I'll get you back to my people.
Are there others?
A few. We managed to set up camp in a few carts, around 20 minutes of walking from here. First, however, we need to get some water from the drip.
The drip? You mean that cart with the dripping water?
Yes, that one. It's the nearest source of water. The rest are at least a day of walking from our camp.
Fine, but you better tell me what's really going on here.
Sure, nothing better to do to kill the time. Got a notebook to write down?
No, but I do have my phone.
Kid, it's gonna take ages to type down on all those small buttons.
Buttons? I said as I pulled out my phone. This phone doesn't have buttons. Matt looked at it like he never saw something quite like it before.
What is that?
My phone. I'm gonna write notes with this. I opened my notes app and began typing.
Huh,
Matt said.
Technology has advanced quite a bit since I got trapped in here.
When Matt told me that, I had a sudden realization. I could post these notes on the internet. Maybe we could find someone that knows more about our situation.
Sure, internet, whatever.
Matt was confused, but at that point, he didn't bother to ask more.
Come, kid, let's go.
And so I went with Matt to get water. Right now, we're still walking, but I'm making this post to hopefully get some help. I'll update with new information when I have more time.